Thank you, Richard. I might still get a Datuk shape. Not because I want to be called Datuk, because even if I get a Datuk shape, I'll be called Raja Datuk Petra, so the Raja is still before. But what troubles me is, since I'm now a grandfather and I have 4 grandchildren, I hope to see at least 20 before I leave this world. People call me Datuk, but they won't call Marina Datin. They call her Nene. So at least if I get a proper Datuk shape, they can call her Datin instead of Nene. Being called Datuk, you don't feel too old. But when they call Marina Nene, then I say, oh my God, I'm growing up with a grandmother. Marina said, as if you were that young. Anyway, I'm 58 years old. I was supposed to be in Kamarudin until I'm 60. But I had good lawyers, and they made sure that didn't happen. And nevertheless, the government's appealing the decision by the court to release me. Whether they're going to win, that's another thing altogether. And of course, when you reach that age, and you end up spending a lot of time attending weddings of nieces and nephews, and funerals of friends, and sometimes I do attend weddings of my own age group when they pick a 3rd wife or 4th wife. Other than that, you realize that you are actually of a very different generation. And I was always talking about how my grandfather fought for Merdeka. And whenever UMNO says that they fought for Merdeka, I say, hey, hello, my grandfather was not UMNO, never was, until the day he died. And he did fight for Merdeka. And I realized that I am a grandfather also. So I'm talking about my grandfather, and all those grandfather stories. Actually, I myself am a grandfather. And we are now 5 generations since Merdeka. Because I'm in the middle. I have grandchildren myself. And 5 generations is a long, long time for what we will call nation building. We reached nationhood in August 1957. We crossed 50 years last year. Even if God allows me to live to be beyond 100, and I get to see the 100th anniversary, the centennial celebration of Malaysia, there will not be any changes from what we see today if we do not force those changes upon the country. This country has to be dragged, screaming, kicking, and protesting into the new millennium. We're not talking about leading a horse to water, because the dumb horses will not drink. We're talking about turning that horse over and pumping water into his mouth until his belly explodes. That we have to do. A few months ago, one of my grandchildren came to the house, and she's only 6 years old. She has not even started school yet. She will be starting school in January next month. She's still not at school. She's not supposed to be on the age where she's aware of many, many things. But she asked my wife, Nana, she calls my wife Nana, Nana Chino. So my wife said, yeah, Nana Chino. Why? Nana Chino? Yeah, my wife said, I'm Chinese. Why? But Nana Islam kan? Say, I'm a Muslim. Chino also, other Muslim. That hit my wife and I. It was like someone took a baseball bat and whacked us at the back of our head. That hit us. And of course, I had to go and drown myself in beers and stuff like that. But it was a good excuse. Now, my granddaughter has not started school, and she can come up to the grandmother and say, "Oh shit, man, you're Chinese." Okay, she didn't say it like that, but she meant that, She meant it that way. So my wife said, "What the," she used that four-letter word which starts with F and ends with K. Fork lah, F-O-R-K, fork. He said, "What the F are they teaching our grandchildren? What the hell has gone wrong with this education system? Here we have a 6-year-old, not yet started school, and she's like, 'Whoa, man, you're Chinese.' So what?" So my wife said, "Yeah, and you got Chinese blood running in you, okay?" Now, okay, funny, sure. But it makes you cry, not laugh. Now, I'm 58, 2 years' time I'm 60. Both my parents died when they were in their mid-40s, okay? So I've outlived both my parents by more than 10 years. What happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm gone? What's going to happen to my 20 grandchildren who are going to be walking the face of this earth? Are we going to see Raja Petra's grandchildren a bunch of racists? Are your grandchildren going to see my grandchildren standing up in the PWTC during an AMRO convention, raising a crest and say, "Kami mempertahankan ketuanan Melayu dengan darah kami"?
Not mine.
Your grandchildren will say, "Yeah, you're Raja Petra's grandchildren. You're a disgrace." I mean, is that what we're leaving behind? Or do we want to correct that to make sure before we go, before we leave the face of this earth, we leave behind as close to possible as perfect society? Now, it doesn't matter when we go. It doesn't matter how long we live. It is what we do with our life that matters. I'd rather go at 30, but I spend a good part of my life doing things for society, than live to be 100 and be a useless member of society.